They say greatest destruction does not begin with weapons, it begins with ego. In the grand courts of the celestial realms stood a king who believed power was inherited, not earned. His name was Daksha, son of Brahma, master of rituals, ruler of prestige. His words carried authority, his sacrifices lit the skies. Kings respected him, sages bowed to him. But there was one being he could not control, one being who refused to bow, Shiva. The ascetic, the wild one, the one who sat in the cremation grounds covered in ash. No palace, no jewels, no courtly manners, serpents as ornaments, silence as language. To Daksha, this was not a god worthy of respect, and yet his own daughter loved him. Sati, radiant, devoted, unshakable in her love. She did not see ashes, she saw infinity. She did not see madness, she saw detachment. Against her father's pride, she chose Shiva as her husband. Daksha never forgave that choice. Time passed, but resentment does not fade when it is fed daily by ego. Then came the moment Daksha believed would prove his superiority. He announced Grand Yajna, a sacrifice so magnificent that gods from every realm were invited. Sages gathered, sacred fires were prepared, hymns echoed through the heavens. The air itself shimmered with ritual power. Invitations were sent to everyone except one, Shiva. It was not an accident, it was humiliation disguised as formality. When Sati learned of Yajna, her heart trembled. A daughter does not need an invitation to her father's home, she said. Against Shiva's calm warning, she went. She entered the grand area alone. The fire blazed high. Gods turned their faces. Musicians fell silent. Daksha did not rise to greet her. Instead, he smiled, cold and sharp. Before the entire assembly, he insulted Shiva, mocked his appearance, questioned his worth, called him unfit, called him low. Every word struck Sati like a blade. She looked around. No one spoke. No one defended her husband. No one defended her. In that moment, she understood something deeper than pain. She understood that blood relations mean nothing when pride rules the heart. Her voice did not shake. If you insult my husband, she said, you insult me. And if you insult him, you insult the very truth of existence. The sacred fire crackled louder. Sati closed her eyes. I will not carry this body that was born from you, she declared. And before everyone could move, before anyone could stop her, she stepped into the flames, not as despair, as defiance. The fire did not consume her instantly. It rose around her like a witness. The sky darkened, wind screamed, the earth trembled. In the silence that followed, Daksha's yajna continued. But the air was no longer holy. Far away in the stillness of Mount Kailasa, Shiva opened his eyes. He felt it, not as loss, as rupture. The universe itself seemed to inhale sharply as grief turned into something far more dangerous. Rage. Not loud, not chaotic. Cold, absolute, cosmic. From a lock of his matted hair, Shiva struck the ground. From that fury emerged a terrifying force, Veerabhadra, born of destruction itself. The sky split. Storms gathered. The grand yajna that once stoned with proud now stood under shadow. Veerabhadra stormed into the arena like a living thunderbolt. Fires were overturned. Rituals shattered. Gods fled. The sacred ground became battlefield. Daksha, who once stood tall with arrogance, now trembled. The yajna was destroyed. His power meaningless. His prestige dust. And in some tellings, his very head fell, severed by the force of the divine wrath. Because ego can build 1,000 rituals, but one act of humiliation can burn them all. Later, when the storm of rage settled, Shiva's grief softened into silence. The universe cannot function in endless destruction. Even Daksha was eventually restored, but not without consequences, not without reminder. And Sati, she did not end in that fire. She would be born again. But that is another story. This is the story of how pride invited destruction and how love burned brighter than ritual. Because the most dangerous fire is not the one lit in the yajna, it is the one ignited in the heart of God.